Across Newcastle and the Hunter, 2NURFM 103.7. Every couple of weeks we catch up with our next guest, and we basically cut through some of the ways that we can make our technology work for us and not the other way around. She's from Grandade. Her name is Verena Franz, and a little no sweat tech today. Verena, thank you so much for coming in again. Now, last time you were here, we sort of talked a way of getting, what to look for in a new phone, but let's assume now everybody's got a phone, and getting our way through some of the settings, that can be a bit of a minefield, can't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I wanted to touch on today is the first sort of settings you should put or adjust on your phone before you really get into using it, because that's how you should get used to having it, which is things like general display settings and accessibility settings for people that aren't completely able like everyone else.
Because these are the things that are going to basically adjust how the filter that everything else is adjusted by.
Yes, that's right. It's like the overall layer that is going to change what everything looks like on your phone or behaves like.
Okay, so we've got the phone out and we want to have a look at some of those settings. Are there a couple of basic ones that we need to get right first?
Yeah, I think a really important one for lots of people is how long it takes for your screen to turn to black again, like the screen timeout time setting. So lots of people never change it. The default is 30 seconds. If you don't touch your screen, within 30 seconds, it goes back to black. Often you have to put your PIN code back in, or you touch like your fingerprint sensor or like your pattern. But you can actually change that setting if you go into display screen settings. It's called screen timeout setting, and adjust it to 1, 2 minutes, 5, 10, depending on how long it takes you usually to look at a screen without touching it.
Now, I guess this is kind of a bit of a horses for courses kind of a deal, isn't it, Verena? Because some people probably are happy to have it logged back off, but some people might obviously want to keep it on because they're not on their phone all the time, but they want it there so they can just, do what they're doing and buzz in and around with the rest of their life.
Yeah, I sort of think, let's say you play solitaire on your phone and you're just looking at it, and if it takes you more than 30 seconds to think about your next move, it goes back to black. So that might be annoying.
Point. Yeah, even for things like playing the games. Fair call. Now, some of us may actually, I've got reading glasses these days, so I probably need the bigger font, the bigger text size. Is that an easy one for us to navigate, or is there a easy way to get that sorted to make it larger?
It's actually really easy. It's the same sort of overall menu in the display area. So you go to font size. It doesn't say text size, but font size. And you can go through, it will show you a preview of how big the font is going to be. And then when you're happy, you press OK. And then all the font is going to be bigger. But that doesn't change how big the app symbols are. So there is a second setting that's called display size setting. So that one lets you sort of generally zoom into the whole display, so even the app symbols and everything is bigger. So depending on how your vision is, if you sometimes use your phone without your glasses, change it from the very start, get used to it in the right size.
So instead of having about 40 on the front screen, you might end up with 4.
Absolutely, that might be the case. Yeah.
What about for the actual colour as well? Like for those who might, colour blindness may be a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually settings for all sort of areas that you might have struggles with. So vision is one big one. So you can change the colour setting. So if you are colorblind, you can actually see the borders of those colors again and can read the text again throughout everything you do on your phone, because it will just do that for every single thing that you see on your phone. So that is in the accessibility settings. And that's a big topic here. It actually comes up first thing when you start on your phone. You can change accessibility settings to bigger text sizes there already, have high contrast fonts and keyboards. If you are have some trouble with your vision, you can turn off flash effects if you have epilepsy, so your phone doesn't cause that to you. And you can also turn on screen talkback, so it actually your phone tells you what you just tapped on, and then you have to tap twice if you actually want to tap it.
So there really are a whole stack of things in that accessibility section. That's probably the area we should get comfortable with before we even move on with the rest of our phone.
Absolutely. So my tip is open settings. Don't go through it all if it's confusing. Use that search symbol. It looks like a magnifying glass on top. Tap that, type accessibility or display display or whatever you're looking for and search for it, and it'll show you all the things you can adjust in your search.
Actually, you mentioned the flash one. I actually was excited to know that existed, because I have all of my settings set to that, because the last thing I want is to be talking to you and then have a message come through or a phone call and then the phone ring. That's a bit rude. So I sort of see the flash quite often. I'll be at dinner with people and the phone will just flash and I'll be like, what's going on? No, it's just a message, nothing too bad. So good to see a lot of those things happening there. Accessibility, check those out before you move on too far with your phone. Always the scammers are out and about, and you've been sniffing high on their tails, Verena. What's out there this week that we should be paying attention to or avoiding?
Yeah, no, I want to touch on text message scams. So there's some going around that look like they're from the MyGov account. If you have a MyGov account, saying your account is about to be suspended, click this link to change your settings, and then it prompts you to put in your details. And that's the absolute red flag. Do not open any links that come with a text message like that. Generally, if you didn't request a text message, don't open a link in it. And MyGov will only ever send you a text message that says things like, we remind you to go to an appointment. We're letting you know that we've paid you your tax back, something like that. Confirming changes to your details, and just letting you know you have a new message in your inbox, usually. So there's no links, and don't click on those.
All right, so whether it's from MyGov, whether it's the tax office, the post office, the bank, if you see a text message come through that you haven't authorised, there's a pretty good chance it's a bit dodgy. Delete it, stay away from it.
That's right.
All right, that's about enough for us to handle for 1 week, Verena. Very helpful with getting our phones. I'll be straight into accessibility once we say hooray to you.
Like to hear that.
From Grandades, Verena Franz, getting us sorted tech-wise this week. Have a great week, Verena. Talk to you in a fortnight.
Same to you. Bye.
2NURFM, a broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.